So something pretty historic just happened. On January 12th, 2026, Google's parent company, Alphabet, quietly crossed an absolutely monumental threshold. This wasn't just another good day on the stock market. This was the day it joined one of the most exclusive clubs in the history of business. $4 trillion. I mean, just let that number sink in. It's so astronomical that it's kind of hard to even wrap your head around it. We were talking about a value that's bigger than the entire economy of most countries. And that right there, that was the market's official stamp of approval on Alphabet. It's the calculated worth of a company that, let's be honest, shapes how billions of us live our lives, do our work, and find pretty much any information we need. So the big question is, how on earth did they do it? How does a giant like Alphabet add a whole other $1 trillion to its value? Well, it wasn't just one thing. It was more like a perfect storm. One huge announcement that was built on the back of a really impressive comeback story. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's zoom right in on that specific day, the day it all happened. To really get what went down, there's one key financial idea we should probably have in our back pocket. And that's market capitalization, or market cap for short. It's pretty simple, really. You just take the price of one share and multiply it by all the shares out there. It's the big number that tells you what Wall Street thinks a company is truly worth. And on this particular day, a single piece of news was about to send Alphabet's market cap into the stratosphere. The spark that lit the whole thing on fire came from a really surprising place, a direct competitor. And believe me, this was a truly Apple-sized catalyst. And here it is. Get this. Apple, yeah, that Apple, Google's biggest rival in the mobile world, announced it was putting Google's Gemini AI right at the heart of its user experience. We're talking about the next generation of Siri being powered by Gemini. I mean, you can't get a bigger vote of confidence than your main competitor basically admitting your tech is better than theirs. And you can bet the market's reaction was immediate. The stock only needed about a 1% jump to cross that magic line, and this news delivered it. The share price hopped over $331, and just like that, Alphabet's value tipped past that incredible $4 trillion mark. But here's what makes the story so fascinating. That Apple deal, it didn't just happen out of the blue. It was really the final piece of the puzzle, the capstone on a powerful, deliberate AI comeback that had been building for over a year. To really see how they got here, you have to rewind to 2025. The company's stock surged 65% that year. That was its best performance since 2009. So you know this wasn't just a fluke. It was a methodical, steady climb right back to the top. And the journey itself was pretty remarkable. It all started back in early 25, when there were some real fears that rivals like OpenAI were just running away with the AI race. But then came the counterpunch. In November, Alphabet showed off Ironwood, its own custom AI chip. Then a month later, it dropped the game-changing Gemini 3 model. Every single step was a calculated move, all setting the stage for that triumphant moment in January. And with that, Alphabet's name was officially added to the guest list of one of the most exclusive clubs in the entire world of business. Welcome to the $4 trillion club. Alphabet became just the fourth company ever to hit this valuation, standing shoulder to shoulder with the AI chip powerhouse Nvidia and the tech titans Microsoft and Apple. And you start to see a theme here, right? It's all about AI dominance. Now, here's a fascinating little twist in the story. While Alphabet was crashing the party, two of the club's other members, Apple and Microsoft, had actually seen their own valuations dip back below that $4 trillion line. That makes Alphabet's climb at that exact moment even more notable. But this wasn't just a flash in the pan. The real question is, can they stay there? Well, if you ask Wall Street, this isn't just a peak, it's a whole new plateau. Analyst Deepak Mathivanan, for example, pointed to something he thinks a lot of people are missing, these deep competitive moats that Google has been building for years. He argues that the advantages they have with Gemini and their whole AI setup are still being seriously underappreciated. And analysts over at Citi completely agree, even naming Google a top pick for 2026. Their reasoning was super simple and really powerful. Google has everything it needs. They've got the custom chips, the massive cloud infrastructure, and the cutting-edge AI models. They basically control the entire system from top to bottom. So if you boil it all down, the big bet on Google comes down to this. They own the entire AI stack, from the chips to the models. They're protected by these deep competitive advantages they've built over a decade, and crucially, people are actually using it. A staggering 70% of their cloud clients have already adopted their AI products. So the bottom line is this. Alphabet crossing the $4 trillion mark was never just about a stock price. It was a statement. It was the moment the market basically declared that Google had silenced all the doubters and had reclaimed its throne in what is probably the defining technology of our time, artificial intelligence.
So Google played its hand brilliantly and fought its way back to the top. But this all raises a really fascinating question for the future, right? In this relentless, super high-stakes race for AI supremacy, is there even such a thing as a permanent king of the hill?